Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Crafty folks. And today it's just going to be me. My name is Ian, if you didn't know, which is cool. Um, and today I'm just going to kind of go over what I want this podcast to be. We'll see if it sticks. We'll see if anyone's interested. If not, then it'll just be me talking to myself, which happens like 98.9% of the time, anyways, so it won't be that big of a difference. But I wanted to create a format where people could talk about all things crafty or not crafty. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care what we talk about. I just want to be able to talk, bring in some of my crafty friends or just friends in general. Maybe people I don't know. I truly have not thought this through. I can't emphasize enough how little thought has gone into this. It was an idea that I had about 5 minutes ago, and I'm running with it. Um, but yeah, so we'll talk about mental health. We'll talk about being on social media as a creator, as someone who makes things. We'll just talk about whatever we want. This is going to be a video podcast as well as a recorded, just audio podcast for anyone who wants to partake in it, depending on how you like to receive information, I suppose. I'll be crafting for a lot of it. I know that a lot of the people that I hope will join me are probably going to be crafting during it as well. And I just want this to be a cool space where people who are weird and different like me can be able to just talk about whatever they want. Honestly, I just want it. And I know that there's like a severe lack of podcasts available. um, that's that's sarcasm for people who don't recognize it. There's podcasts on literally everything. So for me, I just want to. Sorry about the crunchy noises. Um, I don't know. I just wanted to I thought that it would be cool to basically have a format that's similar to live streams that a lot of crafters, including myself, do, but we didn't have to deal with the live aspect of it. So we could kind of edit ourselves down to make sure that any message that we want to communicate can be received how we want it to be. But also, and not in like a fake way, but like sometimes we misspeak, sometimes we kind of fuck up, and that's okay too. Um, so I just really wanted to just kind of create this space where like we didn't have to be like on all the time. With live, you kind of have to be expecting any kind of response from anyone at any time, and it can be pretty stressful. Especially, I know a lot of us, including myself, deal with mental health issues, and just having that kind of like um, always on mentality can really be difficult for a lot of us. And sometimes we kind of put our feet, feet, I don't know, we put something in our mouths. And I'll let you fill in the blanks on that one. But I just wanted to, have this space for us to just talk about whatever. So today I'm making a packer. This is, for those of you who don't know what a packer is a synthetic penis that, or really more like a synthetic bulge that trans men, trans masc folks, non binary folks, anyone who wants a bulge that doesn't have one naturally or wants to build on something they have naturally can put in their pants to make sure that they are getting the look that they want. Let me move the camera a little bit. For some strange reason, I have a reputation of always being the person who crochets a lot of ticks. And I wouldn't say that that is like super far off from the truth. I do make a lot of packers and like just penis plushies and stuff like that. But like I also make other things. Believe it or not, my whole existence does not evolve around the dick. So I mean, some of it does, but leave your judgment at the door, okay? Um, but I have a reputation that seems to be warranted of like that's all I'm doing, especially in some like crochet groups that I'm in, where like someone will say something dirty, which I am the first person to say something dirty generally because my mind is constantly in the gutter. I don't know if it's ever been any place other than the gutter, and people. Whenever anyone else says something dirty, they always assume it was me because I'm like the filthy minded pervert over here. And again, not far off from the truth, but I am not the only filthy minded pervert out there. So that's why I wanted this to be an 18 plus podcast. I didn't want other people to have to worry about censoring themselves to not get like demonetized and things like that, because honestly, I think that that's just like I know personally I like, while money is awesome and I'm a big fan of it, and I don't have a lot of it by any means, I also I also don't want to censor myself because profanity is part of my culture. Like it's how I was raised, it's how I function in my daily life. So to not come on here and like just talk like a sailor is very foreign to me, and I understand other people wanting to, stay within community guidelines or whatever. I understand that. I'm not knocking anyone who chooses to do that because they want to be monetized. But for me, it just isn't authentic to who I am. And if there's anything to me, it's being authentic. So yeah, we're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff. We're gonna talk about queer and trans things. We're going to talk about crafts. We're going to talk about creating a small business, how to support a small business, things that we've made that we've been really excited for that literally no one bought or gave us a second glance to. We might also talk about, I don't know, politics or fucking the weather. I don't know. I don't care. As long as, and the only thing that I will say that I am going to censor out is if things take a turn where we are excluding people or we're not being just like generally cool about shit. Like if people want to come in with a very controversial attitude that I feel like will put people kind of on their heels in a sense where like they feel like they are like almost like personally attacked. I just don't want that vibe. It's not my vibe on my channel, and it definitely won't be the vibe of this podcast. So that's really the only thing I will edit out. And any other editing will just be kind of seaming parts of the video together. So just so you know that if you know me and if you know the kind of channel I run, you know that like I don't really give a fuck. If I have an opinion, I will likely say it. Like I said, as long as it's not like othering or like ableist or shit like that, where like I don't want to put anyone in a position where they feel like they're not welcome in this community because they are. That's the thing. Like, I feel like there's parts of the crafting community, and I think it's probably been this way a long time, but especially with social media, where like people feel like they can't talk freely because or like support certain causes freely because it will like ostracize people in a way that challenges maybe their belief system. And I am just not about that life. Like, I was already thinking about like different things I might want to talk about, and some things might be like companies we choose to support based on their beliefs and their core values as a company. And, if for whatever reason you still support these companies, that's your choice. Like, no one's trying to change your opinion. We just try to, I hope that we can just create an environment where we can talk freely about these things and let people make their decisions themselves and have no judgment if people's decisions go against what we think they should be, quote unquote. you know. Um, so, so yeah, so we'll be crafting during these. A lot of us will, some of us will just want to talk and won't be crafting. That's okay too. Again, I just really want this to be free form and natural. For some episodes, I might kind of throw an idea or two out into the sphere of what the podcast will be about, what the episode will be about. But ultimately, if that's not what it turns out to be, I kind of don't care. I feel like if you're taking a shot for every time I say I don't care, you're already wasted. So just keep this playing and do what you do. Um, but yeah, so I'm hoping to get some other people involved because you all hear my voice plenty. I don't feel like this needs to be a place where it's only my voice, where it's only my opinion or opinions on things, because there are a bunch of different viewpoints in this world, and I think that we should all have the freedom to share them as long as they're not blatantly hurting a person or a group of people. I that's again where I draw the line. So like any like call outs of a certain person, which all my friends, I don't think that they're the type of people to do that. But if that were the case, I would just be like, yeah, I'm gonna cut this. I want us all to feel safe, and if you have any kind of feelings about something or another where, again, things don't align with your beliefs, that's totally allowed. And you're allowed to share those beliefs, and that's totally fine. I'm never gonna go through the comments and like ban people for just like having a different opinion. What I will go and ban people with no fucking qualms about it is when people bring hate speech or just blatant like disrespect towards the people on this podcast, because we're all allowed to have an opinion. The old adage of opinions are like buttholes, everyone has one, which I always think, I'm like, are there people without buttholes? Am I excluding them? But I haven't, in fact, examined every single person on this earth and haven't examined if they do have buttholes. But I think it's still a good analogy, right? And, I think this could be a really good opportunity for people to just kind of talk about whatever they want to talk about without, uh, just like drama of sharing your own opinion. Some people are so focused on like crafting, which is totally fine. Like, there's no problem with just being a crafting or whatever channel and not sharing the intimate details of your life. I choose to do that, again, as I've said many times before, because I figure like I can't be the only person going through something like this. So I want to make sure that people, it would be cool if people didn't feel so alone in their experiences, knowing that other people like myself or like someone else go through similar experiences. If you have any interest in being on this podcast, feel free to reach out to me. You don't have to be on it every single week or however often I post things. You don't have to. Really, there's just like, it's low stakes. And the reason why it's so low stakes is because I want this to be relaxed and just be like friendly conversation. And I think that the minute that it becomes like, just a few people's opinions who are unwavering and aren't willing to learn or grow, I don't feel like that's what I want from, it's definitely not what I enjoy listening to. And I don't believe other people necessarily enjoy listening to it either. So, so I just want to bring a sense of community that I feel like I fostered on my personal page, and and then just, bring joy to people. If people like listening to podcasts, they can listen to it. If they prefer to watch them, like me, they can watch them on YouTube. Currently, the podcast will reside on my main channel, which is at ian.is.weirdo. But I don't know, maybe if people join and they want a separate page for it or whatever, I was about to say I don't care, but I really don't want anyone getting like alcohol poisoning from this introduction to the channel, or introduction to the podcast, I should say. But if there's interest, we could definitely switch over to a different page, or whatever. It's highly inconsequential to me, and I can't express that enough. It truly is like, I just want this to be a collaborative effort among people in the community of makers and queer community, trans community. Just anyone who wants to join, I please feel free. And just let me know, obviously, because you can't be on it if you don't let me know. That's not really how this whole thing works. We're going to be open to suggestions of things we should talk about or might want to touch on. And if you're interested at all, please let me know, because I think this could be something really fun if we let it be, and if we're willing to just have a good time chit-chatting with friends and then eventually posting it on the internet. So yeah, for me, it's very important that we just support each other, and and granted, like I said, like if you don't support someone's opinion about X, Y, or Z, you can voice it, you can keep it quiet, whatever. Just be respectful. That's all I'm asking. And this is coming from a very disrespectful human like myself. But if you don't agree with someone, there's a way to approach it that's like tactful and helpful and moves the conversation forward, rather than bringing people down, making them feel like shit just because they have a different opinion than you. If that's your prerogative, please just go anywhere else, like anywhere. I don't care. Just go away. Yeah, so any suggestions for how you would like to see this podcast go, please let me know, because, as much as I love hearing the sound of my own voice, it's more important to me that I create something that, like, we all feel like is kind of like a community effort, whether you're on the channel or podcast. Why do I keep on saying channel? Whether you're on the podcast or whether you're not, I do want it to feel like anybody can voice their opinion, and as long as they're not being an asshole, or even if they are kind of being an asshole. If you're an asshole that's willing to change, what is an asshole that's willing to change? What's the metaphor for that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm always trying to look for metaphors, and sometimes my brain's like, nah, no, we're not doing this. If you have a problem with anything said on the podcast that you don't feel that you can voice publicly, you can always message me. I will try to always include links for everything mentioned in every podcast, whether it be someone's personal channel, or links to more information about finding details about whatever. And I'll try to always put contact information for me, so that if you have something that you aren't comfortable voicing openly, you can still talk about it with me, because I think that we grow a lot as people by not necessarily hanging around people who solely have every shared experience and opinion that we do, but rather the people that have different experiences and different opinions. I think that's how we grow, and I think a lot of what I feel like is lacking in the world today is just people willing to hear other people out, hear their opinions, and not immediately shit on them. Because I just don't feel like that gives a lot of opportunity for people to grow and learn. And if I could do anything on this planet, it would just encourage a place where conversation and dialogue can happen, um, rather than monologuing, much like I'm doing right now. So each episode may be of various lengths, it may have different people on it. Some people who, like, if you have an opinion about something again, but you don't feel comfortable sharing it, but you want us to maybe voice, your opinion on about it, but like anonymously, so that you can share your opinion on something, but maybe you don't want to tie your name to it based on, I don't know, like your social media presence or fucking whatever. I don't care. Sorry. I am very sorry for making you so drunk. But but that can be done too. Anonymous comments and things like that. We can do that as well. Again, as long as they're not hateful. I'm open to different opinions because I've learned so much in my I would like to say my short life, but it doesn't feel short at all. In fact, I feel decrepit and old. But in my life, the moments that I've experienced the most growth is when I just shut the fuck up and listen to what other people had to say. And which is hard for me because, again, I do apparently love the sound of my own voice. But if I let other people share their opinions and I'm like, wow, I never thought of it that way, and then I can form my own opinion, to me, that's the ideal way that we can, make the world a better place. And if it's just through like crafting, um, who cares? It might seem very insignificant to people, but for some of us, crafting is our sole form of income. It's our sole form of like any shred of sanity that we might have, like, i.e., me, like being disabled. Like, I don't like crafting is part of my therapeutic treatment. And so I forgot what I was saying, but point is, my brain's messed up. It don't work good, and that just is, what it is. But I think if we can inspire a growth mindset of just being willing to hear other people's opinions, I think that would be really positive. And yeah, so anything you want to see, hear, I don't know, people that you think would be interested, maybe tag them. Um, People that are interested, you can comment below. You can email me at the email link that I put below. Anything like that. I just want to, and maybe you don't want to be on every podcast or anything, but maybe you're like, hey, there's this thing in this yarn community or craft community or whatever that I feel like should be addressed, and I would really like to be on a podcast about that issue. Anything like that. We're gonna keep the format as loosey goosey as possible because I think it's very, very important just for us to have a good time. And that's all I want, Uh, and hopefully we'll get some special guests on this podcast. Hopefully it won't just be me, because I'm sure you all are probably sick of me just talking and talking and talking. I know I am. So I really hope that this podcast can turn into something, but if it doesn't, we gave it the old college try. So I hope you have a great day. And let me know what you want this to turn into. So, yeah, I hope you have an awesome day and happy crafting.